talking about beliefs. So type in the word SASS, SASS. Type in the word SASS. Of course, I forgot to do it. So on the thing. So just type in SASS. I'm going to show it to you now. Add crawler. There you go. Type in SASS and I have a free gift for you. Now, here's the thing. When I give you a free gift, we're going to be talking about a belief systems today. And I think I'm going to tell a ghost story. But I'm going to decide. So hi, Caroline. Hi, Kathy. Caroline, I left you a message, a messenger. I don't know if you got it. So we're going to be talking about belief systems and how belief systems are holding you back from you getting your dreams. And I have 4 key components that are going to help take you from scarcity to synchronicity, And I'm going to share my own personal story of how I went from scarcity to synchronicity. And I want to show you these key components because they're really important. It's 4 pillars that I created, which are basically based on SASS. And we're going to play along today, and we are going to do that together. We're going to do SASS together. So we're going to come up with a dream, something that, like, what I find a lot with a lot of my members. Hi, Valerie. With a lot of my members is when, like, I've been talking to some of them via Messenger recently, and I'm like, so what's that dream that you have? And we start talking about it, but they're not clear, and they have a belief system that keeps them from seeing this dream come to fruition. And that's what we want to stop doing, especially now. Hi, Corby. Hi, Gertrude. Especially now when we're in SIP, right? Shelter in place. This is really an interesting opportunity, an interesting moment to really create what we want to go back to. Not what, like, many people don't want to go back to the life they've been living. They're seeing an opportunity to create something new here. They're recognizing there was unhappiness in their past life before SIP. So now they want to move into a life that that vibrates with them, that's energetic with them, that they want to live. And I know a lot of times people struggle to make their dreams happen, and they wonder why their dreams aren't happening. And many times it's because they have a belief system, an unconscious belief system that is keeping them from their dream. So if you type in SASS, here's what's going to happen. You're going to get an autoresponder from my little bot that's going to say, hey, do you want this gift? Type SASS in again, not here, in Messenger. So you have to type SASS in again in order to get the gift. So everybody who's on here right now, I want you to try it out because I have somebody from my team making sure it works. So you're going to type in SASS, S-A-S-S, hello, Lisa, hello, Mary. You're going to type in SASS, S-A-S-S, and then you're going to get a thing in your Messenger, and it's going to say, do you really want this free gift? If so, type SASS again. And you're going to type in SASS in your Messenger, and you will get that free gift. So I have a lot to talk to you about today because this is something that's very, very dear to my heart and my soul, is to get you out of scarcity and get you into synchronicity. And to get you out of scarcity and into synchronicity on your dreams, like the things that you really, really, really desire in your life. So many people, I can see like different members here. Mary's a member, and Lisa's a member, and Dory, and there's different people. I think Dory's a member still. And hi, Mary, another Mary, who actually is in my Soul Everyday free group, and she flagged something that somebody was breaking a law, and I want to thank you for that, Mary. Thank you so much. And Kitty, another Soul Finder Academy, another membership for your soul person. So here's the thing that I want to teach you. We have these dreams. Everybody think right now of, so right before this live, I'm working on a big dream. A really big dream. And it's a project that I've been working on for over 10 years. And it goes in and out of fruition. And it's very, very dear to my heart. It's a ghost story. It's about a big Hollywood murder. And it's magical and amazing and unfucking believable. And anytime I work on it, the stuff that goes on, the synchronicity that goes on is really incredible. So I started picking it up again last year. And I was talking to a producer friend of mine who really believes in my work. And she's like, I love that idea. I love that show. I love that story. Let me take it out for you. So she worked on it. And anything in TV goes so slow. It's so slow, so slow. And for like 6 months, she had it and nobody wanted it. And I didn't care. Like, I'm so used to this process now. I don't give a shit. I'm going to tell the story no matter what. So this weekend, I sat down. This is where we can do an SIP. This weekend, I sat down and I started revisiting my notes and I started writing it up, and I'm going to do it as a podcast. And I am going to pitch it to a particular company that I'm really, really excited about. And whether they take it or not doesn't matter to me because I've decided to do it. So now, since I've decided to do it, what do you think's been happening? Like crazy ass synchronicity, crazy ass synchronicity that tells you you're on the right path. But the thing is, you've got to continue to take action. You can't let self-doubt in and worry. And here's a murder case, right? A murder case where it's a famous murder case. Movies are still being made about it. I know who the real killer is. The real killer is alive. He's another actor. The guy that was convicted is not the real killer. He actually, there's such a magical story. I can't even get into it. And so I'm scared. I'm scared to go out with this story because I'm going to be like naming someone, and, you know, I'm a medium and like all this stuff, but I'm like, I have to do it. So yesterday, nobody knows this story. I am walking and listening to this particular true crime podcast, these people I want to pitch, and they're talking about an entirely different murder, not even in the same genre, nothing. And what do they mention? My murder. They talk about going into the big big police plaza where all the records are, which is what I want to get my hands on. And the guy's like, I went into this huge room and it was amazing. And it's all these records. And he's there for this one particular case. And he's like, and I walk by and it's blah, 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 the case that I'm working on. And I'm like, if that's not a fucking sign, I don't know what is, because there were about 60 podcasts in this thing. I downloaded a bunch and I went to that one. And as soon as he talked about this this police records room, I was like, oh, I want to get into that records room. He mentioned the case I'm working on. So those are synchronicities. And that's where you have to jump out and do it. But I could have these belief systems where I could say, people are going to make fun of me. They're not going to, the story is so amazing. They're not going to want to hear from a medium. I'm going to be naming a murderer, a real murderer, you know, whatever the self-doubt is. That's the belief systems. So I want to help you guys right now. And I'm not allowing that to happen because I have the tools and the techniques to not allow that to happen to me. I have the tools and techniques to not sidetrack me. I have the tools and techniques so much that I could be in a meeting and getting a text from the producer saying, blah, 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 passed on it. That's it. I have nobody else. And I'd be like, okay. And I just keep going on because it does not mean anything to me. It's in my heart. It's in my soul. It's my story. And it's meant to get out. And I'm so, how many of you feel inspired by your life right now? How many of you are experiencing inspiration? Because if you're not experiencing inspiration, you're not connected to source. You're not connected to the divine. We need to get you inspired. So we're going to work through these 4 principles right now to get you from scarcity to synchronicity. So those of you just joining, put in SAS, but you're going to get an autoresponder. Hello, Leonard. Hi, Trudy and Valerie. You're going to get an autoresponder in your thing. And it's going to say, do you really want this gift? Type SAS in again and type that in again, because I get very upset when I look at this and I see people not getting the gift. And I'm like, what is going on? They have to get the gift. Now, you may also see Pam on here, Pam Rosen, and she works on my team. And she may be reaching out to a few of you to help you get from scarcity to synchronicity. So let's start this right now. You ready? We're starting with the first S in SAS, which is subconscious thinking. But before we do that, what I want to know from all of you is, what is the dream that you want to create in your life? What is the dream that you want to create in your life? So while you're typing it in and telling me what that dream is that you want to create in your life, I'm going to tell you my story, one of my stories. So I was living in LA in Sherman Oaks, and I had a beautiful house, absolutely beautiful house. But I was miserable. I was hating LA. I hate the friggin' heat. I can't stand the heat. And I just wanted to get the F out of there. But I didn't know where I was supposed to go. I didn't know what to do. I had debt in the house. You know, I had a second mortgage on it. I didn't have the down payment. My taxes, because I'm a corporation, I'm not going to get into my personal shit, but it's like mortgages are tricky. And I was like, I got to get out of here though. So the subconscious thinking, right? The subconscious thinking for me was, fuck, I'm in this financial position again. Motherfucker, how did I get here? Oops, shouldn't curse like that. Why am I here? Like, I should know better. I'm a business owner. Like, how am I going to get out of here? I'm trapped. I'm stuck. So what is the job? What is the business that you want? What is the life that you want? Is it the big house? You got to play with this with me. Is it the big house? Is it the great partnership? Is it being out of debt once and for all? Is it starting that business? Like Sandra said, Sandra's the soul star, my coaching program blossoming. I love that. Gertrude says her own business. So what is it? What is the thing you want? Peace within myself. I love that, Sandy. That's a great one. Peace within myself. Now, I would ask you to get a little bit more specific. What's not causing you peace? So now, what is the subconscious belief that is keeping you from having this dream? What is the subconscious belief that is keeping you from having this dream? Now, it's subconscious, so it's buried deep. We just played a game in Membership for Your Soul with the Moon card, and the Moon card is all about unconscious belief systems rising to the surface so that you have knowledge to walk the path. So what is, Chris and Sandra, I'm going to use you too, what is the belief system that's keeping you from being a children's book author and having a home and having a condo? What is it? Lisa, what is keeping you from getting out of debt? What do you think is the unconscious belief that is keeping you getting out of debt? Kitty says, my dream is to travel and work in small groups to help everyday people connected to finding their soul's journey. Great. What's the subconscious belief that's keeping you from it? Sandra wants to travel, mountain bike, and 5 one-on-one clients a month, which is great. To work with people to discover their oneness with spirit that leads to abundance. Now, I'm going to yell at you, Leonard, because you're in SFA. So in your dream, you do this with your dream. You do the unplugging thing. I yelled at you in the Q&A. I hope you listened to it. Leonard is magic. Leonard's one of the coaches in SFA. He's magic, pure magic. So there's a lot of people on here that are from membership. Okay, self-employed. So all of what you're telling me is not out of reach. You think it's out of reach. And if you didn't think it was out of reach, you would be having it already. So what do you think? Here, thank you, Kitty, for playing along. Kitty says, I do not have enough knowledge. Now, Kitty, I know you because you're a Membership for Your Soul, and I beg to differ. Because one of the things that I know about people, and I'm here to coach you guys and help you, but I want to teach everybody as a mass too. So this is subconscious thinking. One of the things that I know about anybody who wants to be of service and help others is there's always people that are behind them where they've already passed that position. You've already gone through that particular thing. You've already made it through that. And all you need to do is reach your hand back and help those people. So I disagree that you need to have more knowledge, because I see you in Membership for Your Soul, and I think you have plenty of knowledge to help people that are behind you. And I don't mean behind you in a negative way, because you know I don't speak that way, but they may be the people that are like, I want to be like Kitty. I want to be able to do cards like she does. I want to be able to do this. I want to have a little more freedom. Kitty, you seem to have a little freedom in your life, whatever it may be. Okay. Great. Chris, thank you for this, honey. She says, struggling with creativity to push through the stuck times, which comes back to not feeling worthy. Thank you. Thank you. Leonard, I'd love to hear your message because I'm going to beat you up. So these are the beliefs that are keeping you from having your dream. So Carol says, find a way to help others heal with spiritual awakening. That's the dream. But what's the subconscious belief that is keeping you from having your dream? Like Dory says, financial freedom, great health, and wellness. What's the belief that is keeping you from having that dream? So now here's the thing, Dory, I'm going to call you out on this. Years of domestic violence that have belittled, degraded, and not worthy. Okay. So I'm very sorry that you went through that. And that can definitely do a number on you. I know that. I know, like, I'm not in your shoes, honey. And so I'm not going to say that I am. But I definitely have been on the receiving end of verbal abuse. Okay. And came out not feeling worthy. But you're not supposed to stay there any longer. So whatever the belief system is that is continuing to make you feel not worthy is keeping you small, is keeping you stuck, is keeping you from having your dream. And forgive me, Dory, you may hate me for this. And again, I'm not having a conversation with you where I could really, really coach you. But that's in the past. That's not your present situation. So when maybe you are still in that situation, then you have to get out of that situation. Right. Thank you, Dory. She's done work. Good job, girl. Good job. No longer a victim except to myself. Thank you, Dory. So Pam's here. Pam is one of my coaches. So you may be getting private messages from her. She's not some freak off the street. She's somebody that we have on our team. She's going to be contacting some of you to continue on conversations because we're trying to offer more high-touch coaching in my thing. Thank you, Dory. Dory, good for you, sweetie. Good, good, good. Now, I saw Leonard answer too. So, Dory, stay with me because we're going to move to the next pillar, which is the A. So Leonard said, what's stopping me is that the project is too big and too expensive. That's a belief. That's a belief, Leonard, because there are ways, if you have that kind of limiting belief, you're never going to get to the bigger picture. Now, your original belief, your original dream was to help people discover their spirituality or to coach people discover their spirituality. There is no reason why you can't be doing that without your big dream being intact. Because by doing that work, you are setting things in motion. Now, I know Leonard's dream. I believe in his dream. I believe in his dream probably more than he does. But just because that land cannot be made into that retreat center right at this moment does not mean that you can't do the work that you need to do right at this moment. So you've got to get rid of the belief that it's too big and too expensive. I was listening to, I can't remember who it was yesterday, somebody, and she was talking about how if you wanted like to feed all the starving children in Africa, she used this example, I didn't. And she said, but there's people in your own backyard that aren't eating. So you need to help those people, not because there's people in Africa who need it and there's people here and we're deciding, she wasn't talking about that. She's talking about the easy access to already help something, to get the momentum going, to be in the situation so that you could feel what it's like. Because like I said, for those of you joining late, I shared a story about the murder case, but because I'm in the vibration of it, I'm in the energy of it, things are starting to come to me. Synchronicity. And without expectations. So that's what you have to do. Okay, so that is the belief that is holding you back. Let's go to the next thing. So maybe this belief just feels too big, right? Like Elizabeth, another one of my soul stars, is on here. She says, I'm not good, knowledgeable enough. Dory, who's suffered from years of verbal abuse, domestic abuse, right? Leonard is struggling with this really, really big dream that he's so in love with that he can't see the smaller picture, right? Wendy feels she doesn't deserve to get paid for my work, especially for her writing. Okay. So maybe you don't, now we have to try to rewrite this belief. How do we rewrite this belief when it's so, unless you go through my Soul Finder Academy program, I can't tell you how to do that right now, but I am going to give you tips and tools and techniques. Plus this SAS thing is going to help you out. So the first S in this is subconscious. That's the scarcity thinking. That's the lack thinking. And Leonard, you and I are going to have a talk, man, because you need to go back through that program. That's the scarcity thinking. That's the lack thinking, all of that. Okay, so now let's get into the A in SAS. So you have this belief. You're like, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't have enough experience. I suck. That used to be my big thing. I just suck. So you have this belief. You don't know how to rework it. So what do? Well, you get into alignment with yourself. How do you do that? Because here's the thing. If we just stay focused on the problem, what are you creating? Just the friggin' problem. You're not creating solution. All you're creating is more of the same. I'll go with me. I suck. I'm constantly in debt. What the fuck am I doing? How am I going to get out of this house? Remember the LA house I told you about? I'm going to curse a lot today because I feel like doing that. And, but I didn't stay stuck on the problem. Instead, I got back into alignment with my heart and my soul. I know enough. My guides tell me you know enough. Let go of the problem. Go live your life. That's basically what they told me. So alignment is remembering what we love to do, remembering who we are. What are the things that bring us joy? So especially the people I've been talking to, but everybody, tell me what brings you joy. So what brings me joy? So here I am in this house, I loved my house, so I focused on the beauty of my house and the backyard. I loved playing tennis, so I went out and played more tennis. I loved yoga, so I kept doing yoga. I loved going on hikes, and they weren't like where I am today, but they were like, so I'd go to the hikes. Like, I did the things that reminded me of my beauty, of my joy, of my connection to source. Got out of the problem. I got out of the scarcity thinking. I got out of the fear thinking, not by trying to fix that problem. Oh, I got to get worthy. No, instead, I just went into alignment. What brings me joy? What gets me happy? What excites me? And I did those things. So first I want to go to you before I tell you the next step. So with the house, they basically said to me, go ahead and curse. So they said to me, what does Soul Finder reopen? I'll talk about that in a second. Leonard, man, if you stay on me, I'm going to work with you too, and everybody else. So they said to me, I was like, here I did. I escaped to New York and went to LA. So I left the New York City right after 9/11 and went to LA. And because I left in such a messed up state, I just created a lot of confusion and chaos in LA. And they were like, we're not going to have you do that again. You can't do that. So you need to really enjoy your life here. You need to get into alignment. So what brings you into alignment? That's what I want to know. So I did all those things. I didn't worry about the lack. I didn't worry about scarcity. I didn't worry about the fear. And I started recognizing what I enjoyed, and what happened then, opportunities presented itself. And I'll tell you the story about the opportunity in a minute. So Dory says, I need your guidance. I do this too, learning to rely on spirit and guides now. Life is slowly changing for the best. Yes. So what I'm trying to teach all of you right now is many of you have belief systems that are keeping you in scarcity, fear, and lack. Now you need to get into alignment. So I'm waiting for you guys to tell me what brings you joy. I want to see what brings you joy. So I just shared with you what brings me joy. If you don't know what brings you joy, well, that's next week's live. That's next week's live. So what brings you joy? I'm getting there in alignment. What brings me joy? I want it all yesterday. In other words, my patience could be more balanced. Okay, that's good, Maurice. Do you know that? But what I would say to you is to continue. Maurice is also a membership for your soul. Continue to work with the joy part. Make sure that that's a majority of your day, because it's going to help you to bring things into balance. Because what happens, Maurice, is that you discover you're not willing to give in to the things that get you out of balance. When I get out of balance, I'm usually pissed off and I'm not doing enough of the fun things I need to do. So I go back to the fun things. I go for a hike. I go take care of myself. And then that brings me back to balance. Then what I realize is I'm making myself stressed out over nothing. I need to delegate this, or I need to not do it, or I need to take it off my plate. Been doing that in my business a lot lately. I even said to my team, we have so much to cover, but I'm done with like trying to throw it all out there. We're doing things sequentially, numerical order. This has to happen now, then this, then this. So not to make myself crazy. And then for those of you, Pam is on here. So she may be reaching out to you in Messenger to help guide you further. So just know that she's part of my team. She's not some wackadoo that is jumping on here. Okay. Leonard said, I'm all in. I love the cursing and do have abundance showing up. Good. But Leonard, Leonard is one of the coaches in Soul Finder Academy. And I know you've been coaching with one of the students in there. And every time you coach with someone, with her, you both have this incredible experience. She loves it. You love it. So there's no reason, you're a spiritual advisor, for you not to be doing that work right now on the side, because you love doing it and you're good at it. I love this. Carol says, I want to share with you, I heard you selling your house story. I did what you taught me, asked Spirit to take care of it. A month later, my house sold for top price. I love that. So she followed me. Okay, so let's get some of yours. We're going to go into the next ask. Connected with source. That's my Brooklyn accent. Connected with source, joy garden, drum, create joy and alignment. Thanks. That's great. Okay. So Sonia, here's the thing that I would say to you, and this, I'm sure a lot of people are having this experience, but so you're gonna have to hear me out. This is perspective. I don't know what's happening to you. So I can't, how the heck can I really coach someone on a comment like that in a Facebook Live, right? Except that I'm a psychic. I can do that a little bit, but that's not what I'm doing. So what I would say to you is you're focusing on how it's ripped you apart. Now, I don't know what happened. I know people that are losing people. I know people that are losing jobs. But what I would say to you is that if you're just focusing on what's ripping you apart, you're not going to find the joy. There is no way, because you're going to spend morning, noon, and night focusing on what's ripping you apart. And I feel that I can say this because I've gone through so much trauma in my life. And I was one of those people that just, and I'm not saying you're doing this, honey, I'm not saying you're being a victim, so please say that. I don't know you well enough. I will call out victims if I see them. But I became such a victim. And I would just like be like, this is happening to me, life sucks, blah, blah, blah. I truly believe that nothing really happens to us. Now, I may piss off a lot of people and they may just leave me, and that's okay. Because people may be like, I didn't do COVID-19, I didn't do SIP, but everything happens in our life for a reason. There's too much to be said about the mass consciousness that's happening right now and all of that. So what I would say to you or anybody else who is struggling so much right now, you can do joyful things that don't cost a cent. Most of what I love to do doesn't cost me a cent. Hiking with my dogs, just sitting out in the beautiful weather and petting them, looking at the trees, touching flowers. Those are the things that bring me a lot of joy. They don't cost anything. And everybody has the freedom to do that, especially now that spring's coming. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Wendy says baking, gardening, Tai Chi, good books, good tea. 7 to 10s, who knows? Walks with my dog, love this. Playing basketball outside with my son. Great, great, great. So we all have the alignment. Here's the tricky question. Sandra knows this work really well. Sandra's very magical. Setting up pointers of what steps I'd like to complete, like emails, lives, challenges are the things that help me put the small steps towards my big picture. Great. And you're also having fun, Sandra. You're also out there doing mountain biking and you're traveling with your husband. So you're really creating like this very well-rounded life, which is great. Carol Lee says being a lot outside of my animals and having a clean house. Okay, so my question to all of you is, how much are you doing this? Like Mary says, joy, travel, food, painting, jewelry, making and animals. How many of you are doing this right now? How many of you are really having the joy in your life? So remember, we started out with subconscious thinking, which is the first S, which is keeps you in scarcity, keeps you in lack, keeps you in the problem. Alignment takes you out of it without knowing the solution of the problem. So my alignment was, scarcity was, I got to move. How am I going to move? I don't have a down payment. I don't know if I can get a mortgage. The alignment was, let's not worry about that. Let's just get you into joy. Let's get you to remember who you are. Now we're going into soul ignition. Soul ignition. This is when you start living the alignment. You start doing it. You're like, I don't know how the fuck it's going to work out. But all I know is that every single day, I'm going to make sure that I have joy in my day. I'm going to make sure that, so this was me, right? Really done with LA, especially when it started hitting 90 and 100 degrees and 105 degrees. But I did my best. I loved, loved, loved my house. I would sit out in my backyard. Backyard was tiny. I planted trees, flowers out there. I had furniture from like the 99-cent store. You know, I figured it out. And I would just sit out there when it wasn't too hot. Or I would go on the hike early in the morning, or I would go to the beach with the dogs. You know, I did what I could to bring that alignment in every single day. Every single day. I had that alignment. I had that soul ignition. I lit my soul up. So guess what happens when you do that? And I'm going to tell you in a minute. This is hard, Sonia. Sonia, I send you a lot of love, okay? So this is grief, honey. This is grief. So this is the one who said her whole life was ripped apart, right? She lost her husband a month ago. Lost my beautiful husband suddenly 1 month ago today. He collapsed in front of me. We'll keep trying to feel it. So, Sonia, first of all, I want to send you a ton of love. This is grief, sweetie. This is grief. So that's why I said it's very hard for me to answer some of these posts. I had a feeling you lost someone. I said I know people that lost people. But I know your husband would want you to have joy. Now, I can't speak to people's journeys on when they're grieving because I think grief is such a personal journey. I think it's such a personal experience. But I do know that the deceased people on the other side do not want us living in anchored to the past. They want us, whenever a deceased loved one comes through to me and talks about the person I'm reading, they're talking about them in a way that gets you living your life. they're like, a lot of people, they want to know, how's he doing? Did I take care of him? Did I make the right decisions? And the person's like, I don't really give a fuck. I'm fine. Will you tell her to move on with her life and do things for fun? I have, out of all the readings I've ever done, I don't remember all the readings, but I don't remember any spirit ever coming through going, yeah, she really messed up. I don't think I ever had that. And I'm not saying that you're saying that, Sonia, but I'm trying to give you some comfort in knowing that they want you to live. So my heart goes out to you, though, sweetie. I have to say that's very heartbreaking. Okay. Love this, Corby. I've consulted a company to help get my credit better. Good. Love that. All right. So let's go. Let's read a couple more. So some days, Chris says, some days I feel like I'm doing too much joy and not enough action to move me forward. That's a belief. That's a belief that's holding you back just because you're measuring action based on a past experience. Now, if you could just continue to do the joy and in that joy, take action-oriented steps towards your goals. And if they're joyful, if your goal is really a joyful goal, you're going to have a joyful experience. Because let's go back to Corby, that's not an easy conversation to have, but I can almost guarantee when Corby started consulting with a company about getting her credit better, I can guarantee after that conversation, she felt a little better about it. She felt like she took action. So that's what I want to say. So now let's go to the next part. Okay. So you ready for the next part? So now we did the subconscious thinking, the first S. The alignment is the problem solver, even though you don't know it. You're remembering who you are, you're remembering your joy. You're not focused on the problem or the scarcity. Then we get into soul ignition. We're really lighting it up. And that's where inspiration happens. That's where spirit starts telling you, go here, go there, do this, do that. So here I am in, my hair is like crazy today, but it's SID. At least it's not too gray, which is pretty good. Anyway, so the soul ignition part for me with the house. So I had a feeling, and a lot of you may know the story, but I'm going to share another part of the story. So I had a feeling that I wanted to check out Marin County, but I was really afraid about making that decision because I'd been looking at places for years and nothing was hitting me. I even the year before went to Portland and I went to Bainbridge Island, and Bainbridge felt right, but not completely right. So I decided to go to Marin because my guides gave me a big, big sign, the synchronistic sign. And I was packing that night to leave, to go. And I was going by myself, not with the dogs. This is where synchronicity happens. And I heard my guide say, go to the clothing store and look at clothes. Now, I didn't need clothes. And I was like, I can't go. I hate packing. It takes all friggin' night. I'm like, I got to pack. I don't have time to go there. And they were like, go to the store. I can't remember the name of the store right now for some reason. And I was like, oh, fine. They wouldn't leave me alone. So I went to the store. I walk in. I see the manager, Kathy is her name. And I was like, I'm going to Marin tomorrow. She's like, you're going to Marin? Oh, my goodness. My sister-in-law is a realtor there. You've got to talk to her. You've got to meet her. I got to put you two in touch. And I'm like, okay. Now, I wasn't going to look at houses or anything. And I'm one of those people that says, okay, and doesn't usually follow up. You know, I'm like, okay, thanks. I'll let you know. But I went home. I think she might have texted Isabel. That was the realtor. And Isabel texted me. So Isabel got on the phone with me and we started talking. And I wasn't thinking about buying a house, nothing. I was just going to check it out. And she's like, let me just show you around, blah, blah, blah. This is like, she's talking about the different areas. And I'm like, okay. Now, this is very unusual for a realtor to do. So I came up here. And by the way, none of you know this. The way that I could tell what town I wanted to live in, the way I spent 5 years researching was looking at real estate in all the different locations. So every night, it was like my candy, my crack, not every night, but most nights I would go online, look up the best towns in America, and I'd go to the real estate right away. It was the thing that just made me know if the place was right. So here I am, I meet this realtor, her name's Isabel, and she's showing me houses. Now I'm not ready to buy. And this is like a big realtor. And that was the thing that cinched it for me. Like I saw these houses and they felt right. It felt like this was the place. That's synchronicity. So I left, stayed in touch with Isabel, and decided to come up again with my dogs. And Isabel again showed me houses. And I was like, that's it. I'm moving. I was driving home with the dogs. A drive I do not like making because Micah likes to talk. found these almond trees, walked through these almond trees, and I was like, that's it, I'm going to move. And I came home, and like, I think a couple of weeks later, I looked online and I saw a house, and I said, Isabel, this house looks really great. But my house wasn't even on the market yet. And she's like, well, we got to get your house on the market then. So I called a friend at the time who was a realtor, and I was like, she's like, oh my goodness, her husband just met a couple that was looking for a house in my price range. And they came over, and they were the ones that bought it. So it happened like that. It wasn't the house I ended up buying, the one I saw, but it went like that. That's synchronicity. That's the synchronicity. That's the last S. It all happened. Everything worked out. The money I got from my house was an incredible down payment. Everything worked out. I sold off market. There were bumps. Trust me, there were bumps. Like my friend who was the realtor in LA, we don't speak anymore. There were bumps, but that's what I'm talking about. So let's summarize this and see where you guys are at and if this is helping you, because I need to help you now. So this is the portion where Pam is on here and I'm on here, and we're here to help you. Can you see how the SAS formula can take you from scarcity to synchronicity, right? So I'm going to lay it out again and summarize it, and I want you to give me in the comments what you're going to do. So the first S, take a look at the dream that you have. And we're going to go to Leonard because I remember Leonard. And Leonard has a big dream for a retreat center on this beautiful property. And he wants to, his first dream actually is he wants to help people to live a spiritually aligned life. That was, I believe he said, something like that. But his S, the first S, the subconscious thinking, he can't make it happen. It's too big of a dream. It needs too much money. The next one is alignment. He has to remember who he is. He's a spiritual advisor. He's one of the coaches in Soul Finder Academy. He's got this beautiful soul. Whenever he coaches somebody in there, they really feel lifted up. That's the alignment. So you don't have to wait till that property is developed. You can coach people now. Then the soul ignition is making a vision book about that property, talking to people, finding out about investments, which he's been doing a bit of. So I'm sure SID has stopped a lot of this. And then the synchronicity is the magic that happens. So what is the dream, and what is the one step you're going to take towards that dream? That's what I want to know down below right now. What's the dream, and what's the one step you're going to take? So Catherine says, acknowledging synchronicity requires trust and listening. Yes. But here's the thing. This is a great question. If you have a question for me, ask. If you don't have those other components in place, you won't trust. Because number one, you won't see the signs. You won't see the signs at all. So if I was in lack of trust, and my guide said to me, go to a clothing store right now, and I'd be like, I'm not going to a clothing store. I have to pack, and I friggin' hate packing, and I already have enough clothes on the bed. If I didn't trust them, I wouldn't have went. So it came from listening to them about subconscious thinking, recognizing that I had a belief that was not pushing me forward, getting in alignment, enjoying LA, because that's what they told me to do, doing the things I love to do, because that brings me into joy, lighting my soul, making sure I was doing it all the time. And then it was through tennis. I ran into someone who lived in Marin. That's where I heard about Marin. Tennis was alignment with my soul. Forgot that part of the story. That was the ignition. And there I am, this girl's telling me all about Marin. She lived in Mill Valley. It was so amazing. The way she talked about it was like, I got to check out this place, Marin. And then the synchronicity happens. So so what I want to know right now from all of you, great question, Catherine, what is the one thing that you're going to do to get yourself in alignment? What is the one thing? And for those of you just joining me, if you put in SAS, you're going to get the free gift. What is the one thing that you're going to do to get yourself in alignment? That's what I want to know. So for me, right, I told you a new story. Oh, I'm going to tell you a ghost story, I think, today. Let me think about it. I may start starting my lives with ghost stories, because ghost stories are fun. So I have a new dream that I'm working on and very committed to. So the thing that I'm doing is listening to true crime podcasts, because it's a lot of fun for me. I really enjoy it. Okay, so yesterday I'm hiking, right, with my dogs, and I'm listening about this serial killer that would tell women, I want to take your picture, you're beautiful, and then he would kill them. So I'm listening to this podcast, and I run into this guy on the trail, and he's on a bike, and he's like, hey, how you doing? You want to go down this road? It goes I can show you how to hike home. I'm like, I'm not going in the fucking woods with you. Like, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. And he's like, no, you go down this road and it takes you right to Pine Drive. And I'm like, how do you know I live on Pine Drive? Just told everybody my address. And I have my 2 shepherds with me, but I'm still like listening to a true crime podcast. And there's no way I'm going to the woods with some stranger on a bike. And he's like, I'm your neighbor, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I didn't know. I said, no, I'm okay. I still wasn't going in the woods with him. I'm okay. It's okay. So that's what I'm going to do. That's my step. I'm going to keep listening to it. And I'm putting time in my calendar to write the pitch, to write the outline. I already hired a podcast producer and I'm doing it. I'm telling the story. I'm done. I'm not waiting. I'm not making excuses. I don't have the time. It's a big story. It takes up my time. Nope, I'm doing it. Okay, so let's see if any of you came up with anything. Let's see. Trudy says, we'll follow my joy. Okay, that's great, Trudy, but I want to know what your joy is. I want specific action steps. I don't want just follow my joy. I want to know what that is. I want to know what that action step is. Because here's the thing. I've been talking to somebody in membership and I'm like, what do you want? What's your goal? And she's been telling me her goal. And I'm like, you're not clear. You're all over the place. And she's like, you're right, I am. So then she told me a little more. And I'm like, well, do you want that job? And she's like, well, I don't know. I was like, is it a paying job? She's like, I don't think it's a paying job. I'm like, do you want that job? So I made her get clear. You have to get clear. You can't just say, follow my joy. Okay. And yeah, I'm glad people are putting in SAS. So here's the thing about SAS, people. You're going to get an autoresponder. It's going to say type SAS in. And you have to type it in again to get the gift. Otherwise, you ain't getting shit. You're not getting anything. Nothing. You got to type it in again. All right. So let's see. Elizabeth Soulstar, at least 1 hour a day, playing and organizing photos so it's easier to create projects. Okay. So Elizabeth made this beautiful journal. She's a membership and with her photographs. So it's beautiful. I love that, Elizabeth. Robin says, find what makes me happy because I'm not really sure what that is. Great, Robin. Make sure you tune in next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to help you to find that. But in the meantime, I want you to think about what brings you joy. Live as if I already fulfilled my dream. That's not clear enough for me, Kathy. I'm going to get tough. You're not going to want to follow me if you don't like getting your ass kicked. I'm telling you right now. You're not going to, because I want the best for you guys. And I know sometimes people do willy-nilly shit and they get nothing done. I see it all the time. They come and join me on my webinars. They're like, that was amazing. And they don't join my programs. Totally fine. I don't care if you take action. But then I see them a year later and they're still stuck. Not doing it anymore. Don't follow me if you're going to be that person. So Kathy, I'm beating you up. I'm using you as a teaching tool. Hope you don't mind. I say everything with love. I really do. But that's not enough for me. I want to know, like, Elizabeth, let me use you as an example. Elizabeth's in my VIP program and membership. And we do these quarterly fireside chats. They're a lot of fun. And we did this meditation. And Elizabeth had a really great coffee mug in her meditation. And I said, Elizabeth, you need to go out and get that coffee mug. And she did. And she sent a picture. And she did something else too. I can't remember what the other thing was. And I think it's private anyway. So I'm not going to say it. And I don't think she'll mind me saying this part. And she sent a picture of the coffee mug. And it made her feel so good. So Kathy, if you want to live as if your dream has already happened, you've got to do something. It can't just be in your thoughts, honey. I need something physical, okay? I need something physical. You know, I have to thank you guys because even my own soul stars, they know this. I'm tough. And I appreciate that you guys are handling even that poor woman who lost her husband. And I'm like, you know, so thank you, Kathy. I'm glad that didn't bother you. Okay, so Trudy came back. My joy is to be out in nature more and to finish my holistic health coaching to bring that to the world as a coach to kids or adults. Will develop a more conscious. Okay, Trudy, how long you been sitting on this dream? How long? Too long, I bet. Make this happen, sweetie, okay? This is a great thing to bring holistic health coaching to kids. It's needed. It's so needed. All right, so we got a lot of sasses. Laura, you wrote sads, so you're not getting shit. So write sass, honey. You'll get the next one. Just make sure, go into your messenger, type in sass again so you get the gift. Look at this. Elizabeth said, drink from it every morning. She drinks from it every morning. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So she knows what I'm talking about. So let me get a couple more. Then if you have any questions for me right now, I want you to ask me a question, okay? A lot of times, I'm glad you guys are sticking with me because sometimes I come on these lives, and I'm like, I have like a little loose thing that I'm doing. Oh, I'm going to summarize. I'm going to summarize in the end. Loose thing that I do, but then I'm like, poor Pam has to sit through this. Okay, so Wanda, she says, I'm going to spend 1 hour a day working on clearing the clutter out of my space. I think that's a great thing to do. I would set your alarm. I don't think it brings you joy when you're doing it. I do feel it brings you joy after it's done. I friggin' hate clearing things up, but I did this before SIP went in place. Every weekend, you know, I'm psychic. I don't know world disasters. I never know world things, but I should have known I was going to be home, but I didn't. I stayed home every weekend and I did exactly that. I can't stand when things are unorganized. It makes me nuts. So what I would have you do, Wanda, is do that clearing your clutter. And then when that hour is up, find something really joyful, even if it's like eating a delicious piece of chocolate or having a cup of tea while you just look outside. Like I've been starting to take breaks during lunch because I usually work straight through. And I go online, and today I was looking at one of the true crime podcasts, you know. I'm taking a break, man. I am changing my work schedule so that I'm freeing up days so that I can just write, because that's why I moved here. So, which is great. Okay. All right. You're in the course now, halfway through. Okay, good. All right, so let's summarize. Let's see what Dory said. We were playing with her all along. She says, continue to let go of things that no longer serve me, enjoy nature and pups more, invest my time and effort into my new business for my Crystal Healing Wellness Center. Love this. Find ways, grants to help financially to get it running, invest in myself and life. Okay, now I'm going to do something here. I don't think it's bad to find ways or grants to help financially get it running. I think that's good, but there's a belief in there that you can't make money now doing this crystal healing to get it off the ground. Tell me if I'm wrong, Dory. Because when I started out of my business doing readings, I didn't have any belief that I couldn't get paid for it. It just friggin' happened. And then it kept happening. So you don't have to wait to get grants. You can do crystal. You don't have to have the Crystal Healing Center right now. You can do crystal healings right now. People need this stuff right now. They really need it. Okay. Leonard, I'm going to beat your butt though. I'm doing the Q&A in SFA, and you better have listened to me last week. This live meeting has ignited the fire in me to revisit my project. Good. I feel a powerful vibration in my heart chakra. This is how spirit reminds me that it is it. I'm back in the game. So I love Leonard. I think Leonard is truly magical. He's such a great person. Leonard knows I kick him in the butt, and he's always willing to look at his stuff and work on things. And believe me, I've had members say to me, I don't agree with you. And I'm like, that's cool. He hasn't done that to me yet. So Leonard, what I want you to do is, I did a video because of your question in membership. Stop plugging it in and pulling the plug out. This is for everybody. We plug our plug into an outlet that's connecting to source. I believe in my dream. I'm inspired. I'm excited. This is going to happen. This is amazing. Plug it in. And then something shitty happens and you pull that plug out. And instead, I want you to leave the plug in there and recognize that there's a character building moment happening at that moment. God didn't abandon you. The universe didn't abandon you. All they're doing is teaching you something about your own being so that you can meet the opportunities head on, so that you could be ready for them. Because so many of you may have the dream of like being on Super Soul Sunday. I use that as an example all the time because I had a client that was her dream, but she was nowhere ready for that. Like if Oprah called her, she'd probably do okay actually because she was a pretty cool lady, but I think she would have sabotaged it in some way, shape or form. We think we want these big things. The opportunity comes, we're not ready. That's what the character building moments are. So don't unplug that plug. It's so important. I plug it in. I have moments, but I never ever doubt that every single moment is feeding some bigger, amazing thing. And you know, it's funny, guys, because I'll admit this to you. Mondays are wonky for me. For some reason, I wake up Monday and I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? It's like wonky. And I think it was this morning, right before yoga. I did yoga this morning. So I do what gets me on track then. I journal, I meditate. This morning I journaled, walked the dogs, meditated, channeled, and then did yoga. Now I did create a life where I can do that stuff. But before I was rolling out my yoga mat and I was like, you know what? This has been a really hard life. This has been like a hard life for me. It has not been an easy life. And I don't say that from a victim place. It was just a moment I was having where my perspective's like, just was feeling that. But I don't stay there. I don't say, God, how do you do this to me? Why did you do that? Instead, I rolled down my yoga mat, took a 50-minute yoga class, and then forgot all about it. I was feeling better. Then I was so a little grumpy. My poor team has been dealing with my grumpiness. Got on a meeting. I was on like a 3-hour meeting today, constructing my next level in my business, which is always exciting to me. Everybody's on board. We're doing a bunch of stuff. And that crappy feeling just goes away because I stay in action. I didn't unplug it. I didn't say, fuck you, God, I'm done. I said, all right, it's a moment. I'm having a moment. Okay, so let me say this. I love this, Nancy. Nancy says, my dream is to free up time for artwork, etc. Today I hired a new employee and said yes to making my business bigger. My thought is if it's bigger, I can get out of the field. Now, here's the thing, sweetie. I don't disagree with this. Nancy, you're in membership, so I may have Pam reach out to you. Pam, I'd like you to reach out to Nancy above to see if you can coach her through this, if that's okay with you, Nancy, because I think that what I want to do with you, sweetie, Leonard is a bit like this too. Leonard has a business too, and we always go back and forth as to growing it so he could sell it. I don't think there's a bad choice there. I don't think that's a bad choice, but you have to do it from a place of which I feel it's mixed. This is exciting. Here's an opportunity. I just got chills. I'm going to bring her on. I know that this is going to create that income that I need, and I'm going to be able to do all the magic. And matter of fact, I'm going to do the magic now. So my business, people would look at my business model and they'd be like, man, you have an incredible business model, Marilyn. And I'd love for you, Pam, to also reach out to Elizabeth. Elizabeth knows why I want you to reach out to her. But anyway, people would be like, you have an amazing business. I do have an amazing business, but I keep elevating it. And Nancy, right now, my business, last week, I was on so many calls. It's sucking me again. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. So Sunday, I was out hiking with my dogs, sitting in the grass with them. And I didn't want to go back to work on Monday. Now, you know how much I love working with all of you. My business, I love. I am done with being on the phone from morning to night for that many days. So I emailed Laura, who you know, and I said, no more. Calls only Tuesday and Wednesdays. I'm done. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, those are my creation days. Doesn't mean I won't take a call if I have to, but those are the days that I am making space in order to do what I came here to do, was write these stories and tell these stories. So Nancy, I feel like you can do this too. And Leonard just popped up again. And this is for anybody. I want you to dream this big. This was scary for me to say this to myself. And then I was like, well, wait a second. This is why I'm in business. This is why I'm doing this. I'm doing this so that I could tell these stories and get these stories out there. That's what makes my heart, besides everything I do, Membership for Your Soul, Soul Finder Academy, those are my two loves. We have them going. People are joining them, right? So that machine is working. And we're getting SFA, Soul Finder Academy. A lot of people don't know about it. So we're starting to get that out there. I have a team that supports me. And now I'm going to the next level of my business. Now I'm in creation. I am going to be creating. So Nancy, here's the thing I want to say to you, honey. So for me personally, it's a little scary. It's that place when I stopped doing readings that I shared with you guys in Membership for Your Soul. It's a little scary for me, but I know I have to do it because I'm done. I'm done with waiting. I hope this gets to all of you. Now's the time. I'm done with waiting. I'm making it happen now. I am done. I have been wanting to tell this story for over 10 years. It's going to make me cry because it has such a soft spot in my heart. So I made that commitment to myself and I'm going to make that happen. And I was like, Laura didn't respond to me. And I'm like, did you get my email? You didn't respond. I was pissed. And she's like, Marilyn, I got 60 emails. And the reason is because Laura does all my schedule. She does a lot of my schedule. So she needs to know ahead of time. It's almost like I had to say it out loud and Laura will support me. Laura's the type of person that reminds me, you don't want to do this anymore. So, and that's it. So Nancy, I love this, but you have to come from the place of creation, innovation. So that's what you have to do. So Leonard said, I got it, needed the reminder, and actually feel more connected these past 2 months than I have in the previous 4 months. I'm doing my daily prayer and meditation and asking my guides to help me every day, and they show up and I get the help. Amazing. Good, good, good. Okay, so right in SAS, if you want your gift, Pam, I really want you to reach out to Elizabeth too, but she's going to get annoyed at me. But maybe she won't. Okay. So let me see if any of you have any questions for me right now as I summarize this. I'm going to summarize this right now. So guys, I'm sharing real time what's going on with me. I hope it's helping you. I hope it's helping you to dream bigger. So you want to create, you want to use this SAS formula in your life right now. You want to think tonight about your dream. Okay. So if you put in SAS, you're going to get a free gift from me, but you have to go to your messenger and type in SAS again in order to get it. You have it, Leonard, but you can have it again. Maybe it'll be a good thing for you. So I want all of you to spend a little time tonight. I like teasing Elizabeth. Little time tonight with your dream, your big dream. Okay. So I want you for the next 24 hours, spend time on this dream. Okay. And then I want you to think about a belief that you have that may be stopping you from having this dream. And it was Trudy, my beautiful little Trudy here, who wants to be a health person. And she said she's halfway through the thing. Is something stopping you from finishing it? Or is it just the course is being trickled in? Are you making time for it? Is there a belief that you can't make a business out of this? You want to just sit with those doubts, okay? So once you start seeing those doubts, I don't want you doing anything with them, because awareness is everything for right now, okay? So that's the first thing, the subconscious thinking, the dream, you're going to do that. Then the next thing you're going to do is spend a day doing joy. So 24 hours, you're going to think about your dream and if you have any limiting beliefs. The next 24 hours, you're going to do joyful things. I don't care if it's the same thing. I don't care if you're singing at the top of your lungs and that makes you feel like 10, great, then you're going to do that. The next 24 hours, you're going to continue to do that joyful thing, but you're also going to start asking yourself, what's the next indicated step I need to do for my business or for my life or for my career or to find my husband or to find my partner or to find my house? How is just being in that joy, you're just going to stay in the question of the next indicated step. And then the next 24 hours after that, you're just going to look for signs and synchronicities. That's it. That's it. So you're going to come up with the subconscious thinking around your belief, around your dream. What is the belief that's holding you back? You're going to remember what your joy is and start playing with it. You're going to really get into that joy and say, how is this joy related to my dream? You may not get the answer. I can't teach everything in a live in 50 minutes. And then the next one is just watching for synchronicity. And then you're going to join me next Tuesday. I love you too, Leonard. Next Tuesday at 3 o'clock Pacific time. And we're going to continue on this topic because this is my heart and soul. This is my heart and soul. So you're going to type in SAS. I'm going to stay on for 3 more minutes. I want to see if anybody's got a question about anything. Kathy. I'm going to read Kathy's thing. But if you have any questions for me, Kathy was the one I was like getting on top of. Ask them right now. Okay. So that's what I'm going to say. She says, I'm working on finishing my house. I'll press on with that. I want to build my own private Idaho. I understand this. I stopped working, filling my raised beds to listen to this, but that is part of my dream. Big garden, small orchids, chicken, bees, pottery, steward. I love this. Made a dent every day. We'll press on and enjoy the journey. I don't think Kathy, I hope Kathy, you're back in your garden. You might be back in your garden, but that's a great dream. I love that dream. And that, see, so Kathy is exactly, and I think she was the one I was kind of like getting on before about something she said. I'd love to, so Kathy went in there. So Pam, I think Kathy, we should just find out what that was, that where she was stuck in that dream would be so good to know. I don't know if she's still on. But that's a great way of I don't know what her subconscious thoughts around that, if she can really build her private Idaho, but she's doing it, which is so good. Deborah, sending you love, 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 love. She says, I've been so busy. It's hard to keep up. Lots of time working in healthcare at the moment, just grounding and clearing all the time, which is really good. So you guys are in the front lines, if you're in the front lines. So I think you're doing a great job. So just keep doing. And if you can add, so for me, another little joyful thing, I'll give you some joyful things. Like at night, I read a really easy novel. I'm reading a very easy novel that is so fluff, but I don't care because I do so much learning and so much doing. And I've been working so hard lately. So do something like that, or, you know, spend 5 minutes playing a dumb little game, whatever it is. It's just going to give you a little bit of a reprieve. It's totally fine. Okay. Do we need guides? Trudy, do you need guides? No, you can be, but do you feel connected to something, Trudy? Is it your higher self? Is it the trees outside the window? Is it the medicines that you use and the health stuff, like the herbs? To me, there's usually something that we feel, it's not really a scale thing, but we feel has got more information than we have at the moment, or has got more vibration, or is supporting us, an unseen force that's supporting us. So for me personally, and for what I teach usually, I usually say lean into that. So that could be a higher self. That could be you having that dream, doing that dream. It could be God. It could be the universe. It could be the stars. It could be trees. It could be just an energy that you feel. But usually it's something like that. So that's what I would say. Thanks, Leonard. I'm like, I appreciate that. I'm gonna show that comment. You know, I am feeling pretty good, I have to say. So thank you. Oh, Kathy's there. Yes. Okay, good. Yeah, so Pam says, if you don't get SAS for some reason, I'll get it to you. Facebook message me or email at pam@marilynaloria.com, and she will make sure you get it, okay? All right. And Deborah says it's almost midnight there. Poor Deborah. Okay. Everybody send Deborah love. She's working in healthcare right now, and lots of love, Deborah. I've been having an awakening, seriously different, like I'm being downloaded into while asleep. It feels that as my guides or angels. Yes. So Dory, definitely pay attention to that, sweetie. A lot of stuff is happening at night because your mind is shut off. We're also in a very interesting period of time right now where there's timelines are blurred, and there's a lot of information coming through, a lot of downloads, and it's a really great thing. And I would suggest keeping a notebook by your bed and taking down any notes because you think you'll remember, but you won't, or even how you feel would be really, really good. I don't know what question that is, Robin, so you'd have to type it in again. I'd have to, there's so many comments, it would be kind of hard for me to find that, sweetie. So I don't see it, so you'd have to type it in again, and I can try and answer it. Okay. I didn't answer that, but somebody answered it for me, so okay. Mary and others, when you're getting guidance, you'll know without a doubt that you're being served. Guidance is never critical. Okay, so maybe that was the question that she asked, because I have a feeling somebody on my team was answering Robin. Robin, answer it, ask it again real quick, because then I got to go. All right, let me see who else asked questions. Love and strength to Deborah. Thank you for blessings and sharing your light. You're welcome, Deborah. Sending Deborah love. Sending love, Deborah. Okay, so I think that's it. I'm going to give Robin a second. Love this little crow from Rumi. Love and joy is the bridge between you and everything. Love that. Great. Okay, so type in SAS. Remember to go to your thing. Remember to go to your thing, your messenger, and type it in again. Otherwise, you won't get it. If you need extra guidance or help, let us know in Messenger, and Pam will be talking with you guys. And Pam may reach out to some of you just based on your questions here. Just know that she's part of my team. She's not some wackadoo that is just trolling you. So we just ask, we're trying to give more high-touch service to definitely people in membership and Soul Finder Academy, but as well as certain people in my audience as well. We're trying to give more high-touch service. So if you put in SAS, you'll get the free gift. And Robin didn't ask again. And Sandy, I'm going to answer this real quick. Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Oh, she said she has been connecting more with her guides, but feels confused. Okay, great. Robin, I'll answer that in a second. Mary. Okay, great. Thanks, Mary. Okay, I'll grab that question in a second. But Robin says, Sandra says, I can't seem to sleep, feeling connected, but I feel it would be stronger if I could sleep. You know, Sandra, I have to, this is what I do. And I have to say that this is difficult. And for those of you who want to talk to Pam, just go to pam@marilynaloria.com. And this is not a robot. This is Pam. This beautiful individual is going to email you back and ask you questions and help you. We have a lot of free resources. We also have a lot of paid programs, but we have a lot of free resources too. So depending on where you are on your journey, some people have talked to Pam and they wanted to join one of my programs and they couldn't. And I'll answer your questions in a second. Sorry about that. I went off. And she's been able to guide people on how to make money because they really want to get into the program. And she's like, okay, well, do this, this, and that. So she's just a really great resource for anybody who wants to use that resource right now. Do not take advantage of her because I will be pissed. Great. Okay, let me just answer Sandra Honey. I've been having a little bit of the same issue. So what happened to me is like last week, I kept waking up and I don't like being woken up because I like my sleep. But what I do when I get up is I really listen to guidance about what they want me to study. And I do the time studying because what's happening a lot of the times is I'm so busy during my day. Last week was so busy that I'm not doing the internal studies that Spirit wants me to do right now to grow and elevate. So they're going to wake me up in the middle of the night and they make me do the studying then. So I've been reading a little bit of Course in Miracles. I don't follow I'm not into a lot of teachers because I'm a little picky about who I study with, which we should all be. I don't like people with ego. I stay away from that shit. But they'll show me certain YouTube videos. Like I love Wayne Dyer, actually. I'll go to Wayne Dyer. I'll go to Oprah. There's certain people I'll just check out. But they show me exactly where to go. They just bring me there. I listen to something. And then I learn what I need to learn. And eventually you fall asleep. But the reason why that's probably happening is because you're not taking the time during the day to learn what they're asking you to learn. So just try to be a little patient with it. Okay, so let me answer this other question, then I have to go. So Robin said, so Mary was saying, guides or ego, how do I know the difference of what I'm hearing? So this is a really good question. And then Robin was, I think, trying to help Mary's question, which was, she said she's been connecting more with her guides, but feels confused if it's guides or ego. So there's a lot to say about this, Mary, almost too much. So I can't answer all of this. If you're thinking about joining membership for your soul, Mary, I would join because it'll be really good for you. There's two sides to this question. First side, guides or ego. Your guides are never going to tell you, everything is love. They come from unconditional love. They may tell you, they may try to guide you to something, but it's never with criticizing. It's never with a hurtful hand. It never takes out free will. So these are my guides. This is what I teach. So when my guides will give me advice, like go do A, B, and C, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to do A, B, and C. They're not like, you better go do A, B, and C. They don't do that. So say I do D, E, and F, and I'm like, D, E, and F was just a friggin', it was a wreck. It was insane. And I come back to my guides and I'm like, I did D, E, and F. They'd be like, okay, so this is what you need to learn. This is what you need to let go of. This is what you need to learn about yourself. And then they move you on to the next chapter. So they never take away your free will, and they always are guiding you to your highest truth. And if your highest truth is jumping over shit or falling or stumbling, they're going to just be with you the whole way and explain, okay, when you went down that door, that alleyway, and you talked to that guy and he was an idiot or whatever, they're going to say, this is what was happening inside of you. This is why you had that thing. Now, when you channel, and this is something I teach in my courses, there's a moment when you're asking a personal question where you don't know if it's your guides or if it's your ego, if it's what you want to hear. So there's a lot of tricks here. And really, I teach this in everyday guided living because you have to learn their energy. I know my guides' energy. When my guides are talking to me, I know exactly where they talk to me, and I know exactly what they feel like. So I know it's not my ego. But when I was starting out and I was asking questions, what I did, I'm going to give you guys a trick. I took a little mini me. There's a little mini me. I put her on my shoulder, and we had a deal. I don't believe in contracts. We had a deal. And I would ask her if I was manipulating, and she would answer honestly. So I would be in a channel session. I'd be getting information. I record because I won't remember. And if it felt like I couldn't trust the information because it was great, I would go to her, am I manipulating? And I would hear, yes, you're manipulating, or I'd hear, no, you're manipulating. The thing about the little mini me is it changes you. There's so much, I can't teach everything about that, but there's a little trick to it that lets you get into, start recognizing yourself versus them. And that's what it did for me. So even now when I channel, I very rarely, because I know them so well, I don't have to ask that question. But if I ask, am I manipulating? They'll be like, yeah, you're manipulating. They'll tell me straight out. So those are the two ways that I could explain it. Corby, I'm so happy for you that you made that call. I think it's great. All right, guys, I'm going to go. I love you. Guidance is never critical. It's always inspiring. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. All right, I don't know who's on here as me. It might be Trisha, but I sent you a private message, Dory and Carol. So it's got to be someone from my team. Okay, summarizing real quick what you're going to do in the next 4 days. And then we're going to meet here again next Tuesday at 3 p.m. And you're going to share this with your friends if you feel it's worth it. It'd be really nice if you did. Or share my lives with your friends. Tell them what I'm on. Subconscious thinking. Think about your dream. What's the belief that's keeping you from doing it? The next 24 hours, you're going to remember what brings you joy. Then you're going to do the joy, 24 hours. Then you're going to bring the joy in, and you're going to do the joy, and you're going to ask, what does this have to do with my life? Just be open in that question. Just lean into it. And then you're going to look into synchronicity and pay attention to synchronicity. All right, guys. Love you. Thank you. That was longer than normal. Sorry, Pam, I was on for so long. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.